Morning. I hope you all had a blessed and beautiful Christmas. I pray that you have a blessed day today, and I welcome some of you. Some of you, I just wanted to thank you. Some of you who have come the first couple Sundays that I've been here and said, I'm going to make a commitment to come to church, and I've noticed, and it's not something for me, but it's something for you, and I'm glad that you are moving ahead with that commitment and that you're able to come and that you're making the effort to come here, because even St. John Chrysostom says that the act of coming to church, even if you come to church, you're completely distracted, your mind is other places. The act of coming to church itself is a form of prayer. So just to make the effort to be here, I thank you for being here and for continuing to pray, and try to embrace those who are not here as well and welcome them to the church, to come to pray with us, to be with us, and to be with you, your friends who may not be sitting next to you, but you may know that they're out there. Welcome them to church and embrace them so that they can be here, so that they can pray with you, and so that we can all grow in our spiritual lives together. But I wanted to say to all of you, I pray that this new year that we are upon is full of growth for you, and spiritual growth, and that you continue to find Assumption, your home, a place of peace, a place of grace, and a place of growth. And I had mentioned too that in the bulletin, a little blurb on open arms. It's important now, with Father Dimitri leaving in the next few weeks, we will not have a second priest. So we will all be here in the main church together on Sundays, serving, praying together. And I know that there has been somewhat of a stigma that downstairs was for children, upstairs was for adults, and that the kids were supposed to be quiet up when they were up here. Take whatever you've known and put it in the back seat, and understand that the new way that we are going to do things here, and by necessity, out of necessity, is to make sure that everyone feels welcome in the church, that the children are not shushed or told to leave by another person in the community. I will be the one to do that, and you won't hear it coming from me. If you are an adult, however, and you decide to answer your telephone and talk to your broker on Sunday or something, I'm going to call you out on it. But small children, if they're having a difficult day, just understand, and this is important, that when you were small, you weren't completely compliant either. And in church, when you stand in church and you're this tall, the only thing you can see in front of you is the backside of the person standing in front of you in the pew. So be aware of that, be tolerant of that, and understand too that kids are going to move around. And that's part of the blessing of having the youth in the church, is that noise, that sound. The one sound that kind of bothers me as I go around is not people talking, but the fans are so loud, I don't know how you can hear anything. The air conditioning or the blowing is so strong. But for the little kids, if they make noise or whatever, let them make the noise. Because if we chase them out and we say, be quiet, and we start yelling at the parents or whatever from some authority that we don't have, they're not going to come back. And then we'll sit here in the pews and stare at each other. There'll be like 8 of us left in the pews, and we'll say, where are all the children, Father? Why aren't you doing your job for the children? Why aren't you getting the children here? It's because sometimes they get chased away from ourselves, telling them they need to be quiet. Let them be in the church. Let them be. Just pray over the noise of the fans. If you can pray over the noise of the fans, you've got it made. So please be tolerant of that and understand that we will be in the main church until further notice, and we'll be kind of directing the services throughout the new year, language-wise, as well as understanding too that we're not only preaching to adults, but preaching to children, and to make the accommodations so that everyone will learn and everyone will feel comfortable. Those who are young, those who are old, those who have normal abilities, and those who have differing abilities. The goal for the church, as St. John Chrysostom says, again, I'm quoting him, he's probably going to ask for royalties on all the quotes I'm giving him today. But he says the church is a hospital We're here because we're all sick. We all need. So be aware of that. We all have our needs. Focus on your needs and continue to pray that God inspires you, that he guides you, that he leads you, and that he gives you strength from the Sunday service so that we can make it through and limp to the next Sunday to be refueled yet again and to be strengthened. So keep these things in mind, and we'll work together to make sure that we continue to fill God's house and that we continue to love and show appreciation for all people, visitors, children, adults, elderly, that everyone is serviced and the needs are met here in the church. This is what it is. And I thank you for being here for this last liturgy of the year, to be here to pray. And I hope and I pray, and my fervent prayer is that you can reach out to someone who is not here, whether they've had a bad experience with the church, a big C, or the church, little c, or they've had a bad experience with someone in the pews, or they've had a bad experience with someone in an altar, either here or other places, whatever it is. Welcome them back and tell them we are waiting for them to be here so that we can continue to grow as a family, so that this church's best years aren't in the 40s or the 20s, but this church's best years are in the years to come. And that is part on me, and that's part on you. And the part that you can do that's the best is just to open your arms to people, just to embrace them, to offer them a seat, to say, can I help you? If you see someone fumbling through a liturgy book, don't say, are you Greek? You know, that's the first thing. Are you Greek? But open the book for them and say, we're on this page. Can I help you with anything? Welcome to our church. If you have any questions, let me help you through that. Or when they're in coffee hour, to find someone new and to speak to them and say, welcome to Assumption Church. Who are you? I am so-and-so. And to embrace them and get to know them. You know, there's a study that was shown that said, if you put bulletins on the back counter of the church versus bulletins that are handed out by hand, that the response of people coming back to the church are about tenfold if you hand them a bulletin personally. So I've been asking the parish council to consider handing out the bulletins to people just to greet them, to say welcome, and not to have a conversation with you as you're lighting your candle to distract you from prayer, but at least to greet you, to make you feel welcome, and to know that the house is open, the doors are open to embrace you. But if we just have things sitting and we don't have that personal touch with each other, people aren't going to come back. They're not going to continue here. So, and the kids, we always say the kids are the future of the church. We hear that over and over. It's kind of like the Sunday school answer when people say, why did Jesus die? And the Sunday school answer is because he loved us, right? It's the generic answer we give. And we always give this generic response that the kids are the future of the church. They're not the future. The kids are not the future. They're the present of the church. They're here. We can't wait for them someday to be the future of the church. They're here now, and you're here now. So you are the present of the church too. So there's the past, there's the future. What's the future look like? It's filled, God willing, with those who are present now and not waiting to come back at another time. So please don't consider the kids the future. Consider them the present. Consider yourself the present. And remember that what we do here, what you do in the pews to embrace each other and to welcome each other and to allow others to come into the church and to feel welcome is a missionary work. We're all missionaries. We think we have to go to Africa or we have to go to Uganda or wherever to go missionize. No. It's right here. It's right here. It starts here. It starts from our response to others, different people. And we say many times, I remember when I started at one of my parishes that I won't announce the name because I've been at 3 other parishes, so you can guess whatever it is. But I'm going to just say, well, I walked in, I went into coffee hour, and the first thing I got, my name is Father Peter Spiro, from Spiropoulos, right? I walk into coffee hour and, Elina Sise, are you Greek? It was the first question I got. Not welcome, how are you doing, thank you for being here. Are you Greek? Presbytera, where's he from? You know, if we do that to each other, we're dead. That's the end of the growth of the church. So please don't do that to someone. You know where they're from. Just ask them, where are you from? What's your background? Are you Orthodox? Just ask questions in a way that doesn't make people feel like you have to be Greek to be here. Because not all of us are Greek. Not all of us are marrying Greeks. And if you look at the demographics of the church, if you have kids, chances are your kids are not going to marry a Greek. God willing, they'll be Orthodox or at least Christian, but the stats are there. We're not the same as we used to be. So we have to welcome people in. And the church has always been missionizing in the area that it's been in. Whatever country it went in, it went out and spread its wings and its arms to embrace people, to make them Orthodox, at least to spread the good news, and that's our job too. So in 2020, when we see, there's all these the cute little phrases, 2020 vision. We're going to see 2020 in 2020. We're going to be able to see things clearer in 2020. 2020, I want you to see what is around you, to see who's around you. Do you know each other? You probably, I know you all sit in your own little neighborhoods in church, and that's great. But do you know who's sitting in front of you? Do you know who's sitting behind you? Who's sitting next to you? And if you don't, it's not healthy. It's time for us to get to know each other and to embrace anyone who's new, to saturate them with a warm and open arm. To say, please, what can I do to help you? Welcome to our church. To get their name, to speak to them by name, to also announce your name. So these might seem like fundamental things, but it's important for us to keep at the forefront of our hearts and our minds, so that all people of all gender, of all age bracket, male, female, baby to 110 years old, whatever it is, that they feel like this is their home. And that's on us. So please, please keep that in mind. It will start from here. It starts from here, and it comes out to you. And I think as we go in time, you're seeing and understanding where I'm at with things. And I'm asking you to do something that I would do myself, that I am doing myself. I would never ask you to do something I wouldn't do. So, and it's very easy to love people. It's very easy. It's very difficult to be angry or frown. In fact, the muscles in our face, it uses less muscles to smile, and it uses more muscles to frown. So go easy on yourselves, go easy on others, and embrace everybody in this new year with love and with open arms. I pray that you have a blessed day. Kronia Palat to all of you, and to all the Vasilioses and Vasilikis and Vasilias and every other derivative of St. Basil. Kronia Palat to you, and thank you for making this Christmas, for me and for my family, a very special and blessed Christmas, a warm embrace from so many of you, and appreciation and kind words. There's, in a priest's life, if you read the funeral of a priest, and I'm going to come down here to tell you this, if you read the funeral of a priest, it's very bleak. Some of the phrases in the funeral are horrible. And what I mean by that is it says, you who walk the path of life with nothing else but sorrow, and who bore the cry. And so you read it, and I was like, oh, this is just, it's a difficult life. And you may know that, you may not know that. But one thing that makes the life worth living as a priest, and one thing that makes the life beautiful, is not only the sacramental life in the church, but also the kindness and love that you see reflected, that you give, and is reflected back to you. So whatever you give, you'll get back. We're mirrors for each other. And whatever we give, we'll get back. And I'll end with one short story, because I know you all want to hear a little bit more. One short story, there's this one man, and he's walking down the street, and his angel came next to him, and he's walking with him. And the angel says, so, we'll make him Greek. Yanni Mavromaniki is the guy's name, right? So he says, Yanni, he says, what do you see? when you look at other people. He's like, I see a lot of terrible things when I look at people. I see mean faces. I see people that are sinners. I see people that are just difficult. They have bad language, bad habits. They're not loyal or faithful to God or anything. And he says, the angel says, okay, I want you to look at that man over there. What do you see when you see that man? And he goes, ooh, he's one of the worst I've ever seen. Look at him. He's hunched over. His eyes, he's got a stravomati, he's looking the other way. He's like, a mean face, his frown, and he's got a terrible, and he's looking, and he's got all these demons following him. And he said, what else do you notice about that man? He says, well, you know, he just looks evil. He looks like a thief to me. And the angel said, anything else you notice? He goes, no, I think that's about it. And he says, the angel says to him, there's one thing you missed when you're looking at this man. And he said, what's that? And he says, you're walking towards a mirror. So always watch. We're reflections of what we see, what we do, and what we give. These are the stories of the church fathers. Brilliant stories. They keep going on and on and on. And I'll kind of whip those out from my little arsenal of stories of the church fathers. But they're short, they're sweet, they're poignant, and they speak to us. So always be careful what you show, because that's what you will get back. Merry Christmas, Chronia Palat to all of you. And welcome. Amalia.